Good morning and welcome to Makeup with Meesh, the show where you get ready with me in the morning before work. I'm back! 13 days. That's a lot. For those of you who don't know, I have been traveling, which is why I wasn't streaming. Dr. Dennis Gross, Alpha Beta Peel. 2 weeks ago, I went to Portland, Oregon, which going to Portland sounds cool. Going to Oregon sounds lame. I don't know why. Coming from Alabama myself, I'm not one to really judge a state's persona. Oregon sounds lame, right? Like when you think of Oregon, I don't know. I still am stuck in like on the Oregon Trail. I realized that was a few years ago. We've moved on since then. However, that's just what comes to my mind. So when I'm like, oh yeah, we're going to Oregon for a wedding, I'm like, should I grab my bonnet? Probably not. But Portland sounds cool. You know, you're going to Portland for a wedding. It's like hipster and yuppie. It's going to be lots of overpriced avocado toast and coffee. That's basically what we got. So Portland was fun. We went to Portland for a wedding, which was lovely. We got to see friends that we haven't seen in a really long time. It was nice getting to hang out with friends, but we left the kids here with my mom because we were going to Portland for like 5 days or so. So it was kind of a decent sized trip, just days and days of debauchery, right? Just all the booze, all the food. I mean, I left Portland. I never want to see French fries and I never want to drink alcohol again. That didn't last very long. That lasted about 12 hours. And then I was back on my bullshit. But that's how much delicious but also disgusting food that we ate and alcohol we drank. So Portland was fun. And then I left Portland on Sunday and ventured overseas to Iceland just for a minute. Just a cool little airport stop. I had a layover in Iceland on my way to Ireland. I was heading there for work. Just me. It ended up being 35 hours of travel. Fun times for me. I was awake for 35 hours straight because I got up 7 a.m. Sunday in Portland, flew to Iceland, was stuck there for a few hours. The flight time, I think on that was like 12 or 13 hours alone. And then I was stuck there for a few hours. And then I had to fly to Dublin with layovers and sitting in airports the way it worked out. I was literally awake for 35 hours. Let's see, I got to my hotel room 4 p.m. on Monday. And then I like showered and didn't want to go to sleep too early. So I like was willing myself to stay awake and ended up falling asleep, I think like 6 or 7. So that would be like 36 hours straight that I was awake. I was like delirious. I was like stumbling around my hotel room. It was a lot. Not only 36 hours of being awake, but the first 12 to 18 of those, I was hungover as shit on an airplane heading to Iceland. Good times. It was fun, worth it, made it. Eventually made it to Dublin, Ireland. That's where I was going. I was going for work. So my team was having off-site, on-site summit situation in Dublin, Ireland. The majority of our team is not located in Dublin, but there's a lot of like visa issues with getting people to travel into the US right now, apparently. So between that and us just all really wanting to go to Dublin and trying to make a business case out of it, we were able to pack the team up and head to Dublin, Ireland and have our summit there. And it was actually really great. 9 to 5 every day, something was scheduled. And then of course, after, you know, you leave the office, when like the meetings end, you go for the after hours meetings, which always happen at a bar or a pub, I should say. But it was really, really fun. I'd never been to Dublin before. Actually, I've never been to Europe before. So this was my first European adventure. And it was exactly what you expect. It was so stereotypical, just what you expect you're going to walk into when you go to Ireland. Very, very cute. Our first day, we went for a dinner after hours. And when we were leaving the dinner, it was so stereotypical, like exactly what you would expect of like a sports match in Ireland. So they were doing some sort of football, soccer things. I don't know, I don't do sports, but they were doing it. Everybody was in their cute little like super stereotypical bright colored scarf and their little beanie hat that matched and all that, you know, chanting their little footballer name. It was very cute. The streets were filled and it was just like as the night progressed, you had just like all these young Irish boys getting more drunk on their Guinness and wearing their little football jerseys, chanting. I mean, it was like if you would have filmed a movie in Dublin, like you would not have even needed to set a scene. It was exactly what you'd expect. So it was actually really cool to experience that. I almost purchased a scarf, like a little beanie, but one, I would never wear it. And two, like I wouldn't even display it because it's not really my aesthetic, you know? Black, white, clearly. Check it out. I don't do color. Let's transform. So I just did Dr. Dennis Gross and sunscreen. Now we're going to do some makeup. I'm just gonna do kind of average everyday makeup today. I'm still recovering a little bit. I don't know that I'm like jet lagged per se. What I know jet lag to be is not just being tired. It's kind of being like almost like your days and nights are mixed up because you've been on different parts of the world, which for me, that was very much true on the way there because I came from America Central Time Zone to America Pacific Time Zone to some time zone in Europe to another time zone in Europe. It threw a bunch of stuff off on the way there, as well as just being awake for that long. But on the way back, it wasn't that bad. He basically flew all through the day. And so I got back Sunday after delays, missed my connecting flight. But after days of flying, I got back at 9 or something. So I basically came home, went to bed, and woke up the next morning after sleeping through the night. It was like back to normal. I don't feel like I'm in like a limbo where I don't know what day or time it is. But I am exhausted. I mean, it was a lot, not just a lot of traveling, but like a lot of actual work. They made us do stuff. Like we had to do our jobs. Literally both places I went, I was meeting people at those places who also were traveling from all different parts of the world. Because at Facebook, our team is global. So they weren't just coming from America. They were coming from different parts of Europe, different places all over America. I was going to a wedding in Portland, and the people that were getting married, they're not from Portland. They're from different parts of the country. So all of their family and friends were flying in from different parts of the country. So basically what we did 2 times over the past 2 weeks was say, hey, bring all your germs and illness from your state and your country, and let's lock it in a room for 2 weeks straight. And that's what I did. And so, as one expects, when we made a illness soup together, I got sick. So the past 2 days in Dublin, I was starting to sort of lose my voice. Throat was kind of sore. At that point, truthfully, I think illness is the obvious answer, but there was another real contender there. There's another variable, which was I had been drinking Guinness and eating bar food for 2 weeks straight. You throw in Portland in there. I had about 75 old fashions in Portland, equivalent of that in Guinness while I was in Ireland. So mix all those things together. It's like homegirl's going hoarse. Well, that's not surprising, you know. My body hasn't exactly been a temple, you know what I mean? I was like, I could be getting sick, or I could just be killing myself from the inside. I could be in liver failure. Good news, happy to report, not in liver failure. I'm starting to recover, but I powered through because I feel chaotic when things are just piling up around me. Spent all Sunday NyQuil'd up and in a fog doing laundry and cleaning and getting my life back together so that I didn't feel as chaotic. And then after a couple nights of NyQuil, I'm feeling pretty good. I'm like a little stopped up and hoarse and stuff. So that was another thing. I think the jet lag really set in like when I was in Ireland. I was able to sleep the very first night I got there, and I think that was a symptom of like truly being up for 36 hours straight. That's what somebody told me too. They were like, the jet lag sinks in on the second day. And that was true for me. I was like literally, I mean, I was basically awake the entire time I was in Ireland. Like I got maybe between 2 to 4 hours of sleep every night. Like I was not going to bed until like 2 a.m. most nights. And I mean, I was getting home at midnight, but I was just like stuck there in my hotel room, just like staring at the wall for a couple of hours. And then I'd finally fall asleep, but then I would be getting up most of the time, like 4:30. Not a ton of sleep, but you just kind of had to like power through. I'm actually surprised. I'm exhausted, but it more feels, you know, when your body's tired from being sick, like that kind of exhausted, not because I'm like, I need to sleep. I actually feel pretty good. Decently rested. It's more like my body is just like, what have you done to me? Stop with the alcohol. Stop all the bad things you're doing. So we'll use this Morphe palette because I've missed all of my little Morphe palettes because they are not little and therefore I could not take them with me. If any of y'all watched on Wednesday, I spent Wednesday's stream like packing all my makeup instead of putting makeup on. If you've ever a glimpse of this morning stream, then you know the one thing that I care about more than anything in my life is my eyebrows. You would have thought that would have been the first thing that I packed. I somehow forgot my brow mascara. Truly devastating. We had to go to Portland. We had to go to Target in Portland and get a replacement brow mascara, and they didn't have the right color. So I had the wrong color brow mascara for the entirety of my trip. Of all things, like I packed 75 lip liners. I used one lip liner the entire time I was gone, but I packed 75. just in case, as one does. The amount of over preparedness that I have when I pack, or the overpacking that I do, obviously do this with outfits. But then to forget the one thing that I actually was like, I only had a couple of makeup products, what would it be? It would be this one. And speaking of makeup, I am lucky to even have my makeup here with me. I always pack my makeup in the large Bag Smart case. I've shown it here on the stream before. It has like a back slit so you can slide it over your handle of your suitcase and like roll it around with you, because it's large. It's a large toiletry case. I usually pack that with me on any trip that I go on. I've taken that on many a planes in the US domestically. It's never been an issue. You know, because when you travel, they tell you can't have anything above 3.4, 3.2 ounces, something like that, which is fine. That's not a concern for any of my foundations or liquids or anything. I pack the travel size of everything, right? So that's not the problem. But the problem is the sheer quantity of how much I'm packing. I'm packing enough makeup for like 45 humans, right? That is the issue. It's never been a problem. Like they tell you to put it in the you get one clear bag or whatever. I've never had them question it in the airport situation. They've always just been like, cool with it. I think they are if you're traveling domestically, but if you're coming in from a foreign country, they have a few more concerns about the items that you are returning to America. So they let me leave the country fine with my little box of makeup. Returning to the country was a different story. The sweet little Irish man at the Dublin airport was like, yeah, this is going to be a problem, ma'am. And I'm like, oh, really? I left with it. And he was like, yeah, you can leave with a lot of things. You can't come back in with them. Then it hit me that I will have to check my makeup bag. He was like, you got two options, ma'am. I can give you this 2x2 plastic bag for you to put all of as much as you can fit, which is basically a lip liner, or try to fit what you can and then you throw everything else out, or you can just check all of it. And I was like, well, neither of those sounds like great options, because if I check it, I'm basically going to be throwing away all of it anyway, because it's going to smash to pieces. If I throw it away, I'm like literally just throwing dollar bills down the trash can. He was like, I see your dilemma. Also don't care. Let me know what you want to do. He was actually very kind and supportive. He stayed with me for a solid 90 seconds while I contemplated this very pivotal decision in my life. And he supported me in my decision to attempt to shove everything into a 2x2 plastic bag and then watch it fill. He supported me through that. And then he supported me when I came to the realization that that was dumb and nothing is going to fit. So I need to leave the security line and go back through and check my stuff. So I had to do that, and I got there to the ticket counter, and the lady's like, oh, you're back. What's going on? Because I'd already checked my suitcase. So this wasn't a situation where I could just add this to my suitcase, which I would have felt way more comfortable doing, because the likelihood that everything wouldn't have gotten destroyed would have been higher. So I couldn't add it to the bag because that bag is long gone by now. And so she's like, oh, you're back. I'm like, yep, they won't let me take all this stuff through. Help me. So she went and got a trash bag, and we dumped my very expensive makeup into a trash bag and tied it up and wrapped a bunch of tape around it and put a little tag on it and sent it down the conveyor belt. So I was like, okay, bye-bye makeup, see you never. At that point, I knew I would never see my makeup again. But I am happy to report that it did fall off the conveyor belt in a very aggressive manner. And I am shocked, utterly shocked. Absolutely everything that I have opened so far is still intact. I did remove my Patrick Ta eyeshadow palette and just put that in my carry-on to carry. And I also removed a couple of powdered compacts. But everything else, I was just like, see you guys in America, maybe. So we will find out together as I open some of these, if any of them smash. So I'm just glad that it all made it through. As much as I love to hit a Sephora store up, like, that would have been a lot of makeup, because I basically packed everything that I own because I'm indecisive. Let's contour. I mean, it hasn't been a minute. I did makeup, like, obviously the entire time I was gone. But something about like standing here right now, I feel like I'm like, I don't know what to do. Kind of like when I was on my phone earlier. I don't know why I feel like I'm like fish out of water. Like I don't know how to function. Maybe that is jet lag and I just don't know. Almost like you're just not comfortable in your space. Like I've just been like out of my routine and rhythm for so long. And I mean, it's been 2 weeks. Like, that is kind of a decent amount of time. I don't really travel a lot. Like, I'm not the jet setter. I mean, I would like to be, but I'm just, I've got kids and a job and anxiety. So I don't know that I can be that, but I would like to be. I have exciting news. It is Botox time. I have never done Botox. The first time I was supposed to go to this appointment was literally in like May. I've had something come up every time and haven't actually gone. So this is like the third time I've rescheduled. I'm like, every time they call, they're just like, yes, ma'am, what do you need this time? I don't know if I'm actually going to do anything because I'm kind of a chicken. I'm going to show up to the office and talk about it. So this is technically a consult, I think, but they were like, we'll talk to you about it. If you don't want to do it, you don't have to do it. And here's the deal. I do want to do it because I don't want to have wrinkles. It looks like a lot of blush. It's not. I'm going to buff that out. Okay. Once again, something with the lighting on these cameras. Buff that out. That's the last thing that I didn't pull out. I think we got really lucky. All my makeup didn't shatter. Oh, so I'm out of my Anastasia Beverly Hills. I took that with me and I ran out. But I had previously picked up this Morphe brow pencil. Let's try it. Finer brow pencil in praline. It's got a cute little angle. See that? Cute. This is in praline. I didn't know what color to pick. Just drew that right there. Yeah, not super pigmented. Okay, so you just had to press harder. I like a dark brown. I think the color is actually appropriate. It's just, it's not as pigmented as I like, and therefore I'm having to like apply a good bit. But I realized that doesn't come across on camera. So I posted this video of light makeup. And like, as I said, I wear a full face most days. And I realize it's a lot for a lot of people, but for a former beauty queen, I'm doing good, okay? I've really gotten control over the heavy-handedness. But the internet does not think so. And so I posted this video of a light makeup look. And once again, I stand by it. I think it is a light makeup look for me. But the reason it's a light makeup look is because of like, not just the colors that I use, but the application, like the quantity. I would much rather use like a brighter pigmented something and apply less than like layer on lighter colors to build. Like I do this with foundation. I don't put any foundation on my forehead right here. Like I just use powder. And when I do use an all over foundation, like half a pump usually. Like anytime I put on NARS, I use like half a pump. But then you see these girls on Instagram and they're like pouring foundation down their face and all over. And I'm like, that is a lot of makeup. And no shame, rock your makeup look. The internet ripped me to pieces on that being a light makeup look. And I was like, there is an art to applying less, but it's still looking like a full face, you know? And that's what I was trying to do. Maybe my terminology, my description was poor. You can still have a light makeup look and use a lot of products too. In general, a lighter version of my everyday look, I'm gonna call that a lighter makeup look because I'm not gonna have as much on, but I'm still using all the same products. That was the detail that was not communicated well. I'll work on that. So this is the Fenty Beauty by Rihanna mascara. This is the full frontal in Cause I'm Black. And I really, really like this mascara. I've been using this the whole time I was traveling. So I'm about 2 weeks in of using this nearly every day. And I really like it so far. I'm slightly disappointed how it transfers. I've never, like never had this issue before where throughout the day, the top of your lashes and the bottom of your lashes will touch like up here, like right under your brow and down here, and it'll transfer off some of your mascara. I've never had that problem before. I don't know if this is because I've been using like serum to help grow the lashes, but I don't know that I've had that like of a dramatic increase in the length of my lashes. Oh, you can already tell, see, it transfers up there. Now it's wet right now, it's drying, so I don't hold that against it. It doesn't happen in the first, it's like after 5 hours of wear, it starts to transfer. I've never had that happen with any other mascara, but I like the way the mascara goes on. I like how it builds. I like the look of it overall, but for that reason alone, I will finish this tube and not repurchase. Let's seal these brows in, even though I don't love them. We do want them to not melt off my face. I'll go with the iconic nude just because it's been a minute, you know, so we're gonna go classic Meesh today. MKW, there you are, baby girl. Missed you. Reminder, this is the Major Glow Lip Shine in She's an Influencer from Patrick Ta. Very shiny. Love it, love it, love it. I'm not doing anything crazy just running to the doctor, and then I'm coming back and I've got meetings, which I'm going to take from my treadmill because I need some activity, need some movement in my life. One of the reasons that I probably don't feel like horrible is because you walk everywhere in Europe. So like we had to walk from our hotel to the Facebook offices every day. It was a solid 45-minute walk, and we, you know, kind of casually strolled, stopped by a coffee shop, that kind of thing. So I mean, we left, you know, an hour before meetings started every day just to get there, and it took roughly that long. And of course, you know, I'm in heels every day, so I mean, I wore a sensible boot, but you know, I'm not giving up my heels. We weren't completely sedentary the entire time. Like, we had our meetings with the team in the office, but we were, you know, traveling from room to room and all of that. It wasn't just like completely just like sit and drink until you can't move anymore. Nice little cute tight bun that is pinching my neck. Finished look. This is what we got. Thanks for getting ready with me live on YouTube and Twitch. If you want to see more of me, which of course you do, then go ahead and subscribe and hit the bell so you'll get notified when I go live or post new content. Better yet, just come get ready with me every weekday live on Twitch.